Family Studies. Dr. Walden.
I'm delighted to introduce Dr. Jean Hogarth, who has been a member of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System since 1995. She's currently Program Manager of the Consumer Education and Research Section of the Division of Consumer and Community Affairs. After obtaining her PhD at Ohio State University, Dr. Hogarth took her first faculty position at the University of Illinois, and after just 1 year, she became an associate professor at Cornell University. She's the author of numerous scholarly research articles and manuscripts and publications, and has received many awards and recognitions for her fine work. Her main areas of expertise are consumer finance, consumer information and protection, and microeconomics. And so we are just delighted that Dr. Hogarth is here today to speak with us. Dr. Hogarth.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank the faculty and staff and students at Michigan State University for their help in putting all this together. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here. I know that time is tight, and so I'm very appreciative of being here. I need to issue the standard federal government disclaimer that says anything I say is just Jean. It should not represent the views of the Federal Reserve Board, the Federal Reserve Banks, or their staff. So let's get started. One of my relatives happened to be married to Charles Dickens, and my husband will tell you that says a lot about Charles Dickens. Anyway, I love this quote because I think it really, really just sort of epitomizes what we've been seeing today. It's the best of times and the worst of times, an age of wisdom, an age of foolishness, an epoch of belief, an epoch of incredulity, a season of light, and a season of darkness. What I want to talk today about is hoping more on that best of times, wisdom, belief, and light, rather than the worst, foolish, incredulous darkness. So I really view family financial decision-making as the core in driving economics, because from that you can move out to, next slide, hopefully families better using their resources, and then from that, increased economic security, better jobs, more homeowners. With more homeowners, we get a more stable community, they're more involved in their schools, more community participation, and that leads to vital, thriving communities. That's the theory. And actually, we actually have some hard data and evidence to show that in fact works in many cases. But the question then becomes, how does policy relate to financial security? And I would like to posit that really the policy environment helps establish access to things like education that Dr. Cook was talking about. That it provides the consumer protections, the disclosure, the information that enables a fair and safe marketplace, financial marketplace, and other kinds of marketplaces. That it also provides substantive protections for the bad guys who do bad and get caught and get put in jail. It provides a mechanism for redress, and it also enables consumers to seek out and access solid, reasonable, third-party, unbiased, research-based access, information, and advice. Okay, so when we talk about managing money in tough times, I have to take a step back and ask myself, what is it that I want families to do? And so this is very personal. I want families to invest in themselves. I want them to spend wisely. I want them to plan for their future. And ultimately, I want them to be happy because, we're talking about life, liberty, and that pursuit of happiness. So when I talk about investing in myself, what do I mean? Well, I like the 4-H model. Since I'm in a land-grant institution, I want to sort of push that and promote that. Instead of heart, health, hands, head, heart, health, and hands, I want us to think about helping people invest in themselves spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally, and I would add financially. So when we talk about investing in ourselves, I like nutrition models because people really relate to food. I relate to food. Thank you very much. And so we know that for good nutrition, people need to eat right and exercise more if they're going to create that right nutritional balance that maintains a healthy lifestyle. So in nutrition, it's all about calories in and calories out. And to some extent, nutritional density. You can eat less of high-calorie foods and more of low-calorie foods. So notice I don't say eat less, I say eat right. Because you can actually eat more, right? Okay. So, for what does that mean for money? Well, if it's all about calories in and calories out, it's all about income in and income out. Balancing that nutritional density of your spending and your income. There are many nutritional and financial management analogies, so much so that Extension actually has a program called Small Steps to Health and Wealth that talks about how you can become healthy and manage your finances better, sort of in working in both of those realms. What else do I mean by investing in yourself? Well, one of the things I want you all to consider is how do we help people invest in themselves and their families? For example, where do your kids learn about money management? How have they learned where money comes from? Do they think it comes from the ATM? Do they understand anything about how you go to work and bring home a paycheck and that helps, you know, buy the bike and keep the lights on in the house and you know, buy the Nintendo? The other thing, we were talking about this at breakfast this morning, many families now are so busy and they are sort of disconnected physically from their banks. I can't tell you last time it was that I walked into a bank because I bank electronically, I use the ATM, and one of the big banks in today's society is the grocery store. People go to the grocery store, they buy the bread, milk, eggs, peanut butter, they go, they swipe their debit card, and the clerk says, would you like cash back? And many grocery stores let you get $50 above your limit. And so kids think that money comes from grocery stores. Well, you know, again, it's a disconnect. So investing in your children's financial literacy, financial education, helping them make that connection. And this is very important. We have just completed a study with DOD looking at soldiers. We worked with the Department of the Army on this. And we found that even soldiers who took a financial education course on their base, one of the still driving factors that determined whether they were a good money manager was if they had a bank account growing up. That early importance really, really sticks with you. So laying a solid foundation for our children is very important. Okay, what are the policy options here? Well, one is provide opportunities for lifelong learning. Many states are now incorporating a curriculum standard for financial education or financial capability in the K through 12 guidelines. And as a matter of fact, I've been doing some work with Iowa State University this year because the state of Iowa has just put in a mandate for financial education that will come into play in September of 2010 for secondary schools and in K through 12 by 2012. So the school systems there are kind of running in place to catch up and figure out how they're going to implement this. But I would add that providing access to financial education for students and people managing student loans is very important. In the workplace and helping people understand their retirement benefits. And in the community, Dr. Cook talked about foreclosure modification and foreclosure workout. Very, very important part of lifelong learning. I would also lift up an example from our sister country. The UK has a program where financial education is part of prenatal care for parents, not just mom, but also